All right, so welcome to another deep dive. Today we're tackling fruit and diabetes.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, there are a lot of myths surrounding fruit and diabetes,
Yeah.
and we're going to debunk those.
Yeah, I think people get really confused by that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're lucky enough to be joined by the insights of Dawud Osborne.
Okay.
He's a health and well-being coach.
Wow.
He's got tons of experience, even works with the UK's National Health
Oh,
Service.
fantastic.
So we'll be drawing on his expertise to kind of unpack some of this.
Yeah.
Now, how many times have you heard that people with diabetes shouldn't eat fruit?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
Right, because of the sugar.
The sugar, too much sugar.
But is that really true?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Dawud Osborne really emphasizes this key difference
Okay.
between natural sugar
Okay.
and free sugars.
All right, so break that down for me.
Okay, so free sugars are the added sugars. Think processed foods.
Right, candy.
Soda, candy.
Yeah.
Honey, syrups.
Okay.
Those things.
And fruit juice.
Fruit juice, yeah, all that. And these are the sugars that are absorbed really quickly
Okay,
into the bloodstream, and they cause those rapid blood sugar spikes.
gotcha. So those are the ones to watch out for.
Definitely.
But what about natural sugars?
So natural sugars, those are found in whole foods,
Okay.
fruits, vegetables, even dairy.
Ah, interesting.
So when you're eating an apple, for example, you're not just getting sugar, you're also getting fiber, water, all the vitamins and minerals.
Right, it's a package deal.
Exactly, it's a package. And those things, all those other components, change how your body processes that sugar.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But even if it's natural sugar, won't it still raise blood sugar?
Well, that's where the glycemic index comes in,
Okay, I've heard of that.
or GI for short.
Right. What is that again? I don't quite remember.
So the GI is basically a ranking system
Okay.
that measures how quickly carbohydrates in food raise your blood sugar level.
Okay, so like a speed limit.
Exactly, like a speed limit for your blood sugar.
I like that.
So low GI foods, they're digested slowly.
Okay.
They cause a gradual rise in blood sugar.
So low and slow.
Low and slow, yeah.
Got it. Where does fruit fall on that?
Well, most whole fruits, like your apples, berries, oranges, they fall into the low to moderate GI category.
Okay.
And the reason for that is the fiber.
Ah, I thought so.
Yeah, fiber is like that traffic controller. It slows down the absorption of sugar.
Right, so it doesn't spike so fast.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
So it's not just about avoiding all sugar. It's about choosing the right kinds of sugars.
And understanding how they affect your body.
Precisely.
It makes a lot of sense. So it sounds like that old advice to completely avoid fruit, that could be doing more harm than good.
It really could, because you're missing out on all these essential nutrients.
You're talking about like vitamins and minerals, right?
Vitamins, minerals, fiber, antioxidants, all of that. You need those to effectively manage your diabetes. And when you avoid fruit, you might be more likely to reach for those processed snacks.
Right, to fill the void.
Exactly, and those are loaded with those free sugars that we want to limit.
So it's like a double whammy.
Ew.
You're missing out on the good stuff and
Yeah.
potentially adding in the bad stuff.
Exactly.
This is painting a whole new picture of fruit for me.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
So it sounds like fruit can and should be part of a balanced diet, even for people with diabetes.
Absolutely. It's about making informed choices, understanding the types of sugar, the role of fiber, choosing whole fruits over those processed snacks.
Now, Diabetes UK, they're a pretty reputable organization.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What's their take on all of this?
Well, they actually have a whole section on their website dedicated to dispelling this fruit myth.
Really?
Yeah, they highlight that whole fruits are a valuable source of nutrients and can be enjoyed as part of a healthy eating plan for people with diabetes. They actually say that avoiding fruit can be detrimental, especially when it comes to getting those essential vitamins and minerals.
Wow. So if Diabetes UK is giving it the thumbs up, it must be okay.
It seems like it, right?
Yeah.
They're a trusted source of information.
All right, so we've busted the myth.
We have.
But how do we actually put this into practice?
That's the next step.
How can someone incorporate fruit into their diet in a way that works for them and their blood sugar levels?
Well, that's a great question, and there are a few key strategies. The first one is to always choose whole fruits over fruit juices or dried fruits.
Okay, now wait a minute.
Yeah,
Why is that? Because those seem like healthy options too.
they do, but they often lack the fiber.
Ah, okay.
That's so crucial for slowing down that sugar absorption.
All right, that makes sense.
Plus, they tend to be more concentrated in sugar, which can lead to those blood sugar spikes that we're trying to avoid.
So whole fruit is king.
Exactly. It's like getting the whole grain bread instead of the white bread. You get all the extra goodies.
I like that analogy. And it's funny you mentioned that because Dawud Osborne brings up that Diabetes UK has a great resource on their website that actually breaks down the GI of different fruits.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah, so it's not just like all fruits good. It gives you some guidance.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a really cool chart. It categorizes fruits by their GI. So, you've got berries like strawberries and blueberries and raspberries. They tend to have a lower GI, whereas tropical fruits like mango, pineapple, they're a little bit higher on the GI scale.
Okay, so that's good to know. So it's like having a little cheat sheet.
Exactly.
Okay, so even if some fruits have a little bit of a higher GI, it doesn't mean they're like totally off limits.
No, not at all. You just have to be smart about it. You can
Yeah.
incorporate them effectively. Like if you're having a banana which has slightly higher GI, maybe pair it with some Greek yogurt or a handful of almonds to balance out that blood sugar response.
Oh, so it's all about those pairings.
Exactly.
That makes sense. So what other practical tips did Dawud Osborne offer?
Well, he really emphasized portion control. He suggested sticking to one medium-sized fruit, like an apple or an orange, or, a handful of berries, or a slice of melon.
Okay, that makes sense. It's easy to overdo it.
Oh, yeah, especially when something tastes good, right?
Right. Sometimes it's hard to stop at just one piece of fruit, especially when it's like a perfectly ripe mango or, juicy pear.
I know what you mean.
Are there any tricks for making those portions a bit more satisfying?
Well, that's where the strategic pairings come in again. Because combining your fruit with a source of protein or healthy fats, it doesn't just slow down that sugar absorption, but it also makes you feel fuller for longer.
Oh, so it's like a win-win.
Exactly. You can enjoy that sweet taste of the fruit, but you also feel more satisfied and less likely to overindulge.
Got it. Do you have any like go-to fruit and protein or fat pairings that you can share? I'm always looking for new snack ideas.
Well, one of my favorites, I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, I have to admit, but one of my favorites is sliced pear with a dollop of ricotta cheese and a drizzle of honey.
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
It's very simple, but
Yeah.
it's delicious.
Okay, I'll have to try that one. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, of course, tons. Another classic is apple slices with almond butter.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's quick, easy, perfect for on the go. And then, if you're feeling a little more adventurous, try diced mango with a sprinkle of shredded coconut and a dollop of Greek yogurt.
All right, that's making me hungry.
Me too.
It sounds like there are lots of tasty ways to get that fruit in, and it doesn't have to be boring.
No, not at all. It's all about finding what works for you, making those healthy choices enjoyable. And remember, there's a whole world of fruit out there.
Right? So many different varieties.
So many, each with its own flavor and its own nutritional profile.
So it's an adventure.
Yeah.
Now, even with the best intentions, those old habits, those misconceptions, they can kind of sneak back in.
Definitely.
How can someone stay on track, stay committed to making fruit a regular part of their routine?
Well, I think a big part of it is focusing on the positive. So instead of dwelling on what you're giving up, celebrate all the amazing things you're adding to your diet. Think about all those vitamins and minerals, the fiber, the antioxidants, all that's fueling your body and supporting your health.
Yeah, shifting your perspective
Exactly.
from deprivation to abundance.
Right. And, get creative in the kitchen. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new fruits, new flavor combinations. Make it fun. Make it engaging. And if you have a sweet tooth, well, there are healthy ways to satisfy those cravings.
Okay.
So instead of reaching for a sugary dessert, why not try a bowl of berries with a dollop of whipped cream? Or, a baked apple with a sprinkle of cinnamon.
So finding those healthy swaps
Exactly.
that still feel like a treat.
That's it.
Now, in his article, Dawud Osborne actually mentions a study that found that people who regularly eat fruit were less likely to develop type 2 diabetes in the first place.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's like fruit has this preventative power as well.
Yeah. So it's not just about managing diabetes, it's about potentially preventing it.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And before we move on, I wanted to touch on those Diabetes UK resources again. Were there any specific tips or takeaways that you thought would be helpful for our listener?
Oh, definitely. One thing they really emphasize is the importance of spreading your fruit intake throughout the day.
Okay.
So instead of having like a big serving of fruit all at once. Try incorporating smaller portions into your meals and snacks throughout the day.
Oh, okay.
That can really help to keep your blood sugar levels more stable, and it prevents those big spikes and crashes.
That makes a lot of sense. So more like smaller doses more frequently.
Exactly. And another great tip is to choose fruits that are in season.
Oh, yeah.
Because, when fruits are in season, they just taste better, they're more nutritious, and it's a great way to support local farmers.
It's more sustainable, too.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we've debunked those fruit myths. We've explored some practical tips. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final kind of thought-provoking question. So with all this new information about fruit and diabetes, what's one small change you can make this week to kind of embrace fruit in a way that supports your health goals?
That's a great question.
Maybe swapping out a processed snack for a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
Maybe trying a new fruit and nut butter combo.
Yeah.
Or even just becoming more aware of those added sugars that are sneaking into your diet.
I think those are all great ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even those small shifts can make a difference.
They can over time. Right.
Exactly.
It's like a ripple effect.
It's almost like we've been given permission now to rediscover the simple pleasure of fruit.
Right.
Without all the guilt and fear.
Without the baggage. And I think, the more you know about how food affects your body, the more power you have to make those good choices.
Right. Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
So to recap our deep dive today, it sounds like fruit is not the villain it's often made out to be when it comes to diabetes.
Right. We've definitely busted some myths today.
We've busted those myths.
Yeah.
And we've explored how those natural sugars in fruit actually work differently in our bodies.
Yeah, and I think that fiber piece is so important.
Yeah, that fiber is key.
Really key.
And it sounds like whole fruits are really nutritional powerhouses.
They are.
They're packed with vitamins and minerals and antioxidants.
Yeah, they can really help manage diabetes and improve your overall health.
Right. So we've talked about some practical strategies like choosing whole fruits over juices, being mindful of those portions, and finding those delicious pairings with protein or healthy fats.
Yeah, and I think the main takeaway is there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. It's all about finding what works for you.
It is. It's a journey.
It's a journey of discovery.
It is. And, if you ever feel lost or overwhelmed, reach out to a healthcare provider or a registered dietitian for guidance.
They can always point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. They can help you create a meal plan that meets your specific needs.
Well, that brings us to the end of another deep dive. It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you. I hope our listeners have found this insightful, maybe empowering, and maybe even a little bit delicious.
A little bit delicious, yeah.
I know I'm hungry.
Me too.
Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and embrace the sweetness of a healthier lifestyle.
Absolutely.